Hey, welcome YouTube, back to another of the Phoenix's talk of Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we will be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! The deck I'm going to talk about this time instead of my blue light deck is another of my favorite decks called Gleaming Power. This deck I have Gleaming Power is because this deck is one of the old archetypes from GX series, also known as Crystal Beasts. Crystal Beast decks have been, barely as other people say, overrated, dead, as if they don't matter or could stand up to any of the new decks. I'm here to tell you that is completely and utterly wrong, because I own one of the best Crystal Beast decks out there that actually deals with legit Crystal Beast cards instead of using substitutes like other monsters. Other than the only other monsters in my deck other than Crystal Beast are the Rainbow Dragons, the Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings, and Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. Other than that, every other monster in that deck is a Crystal Beast. Now, why I say this, to disclude anyone who's ever dissed a Crystal Beast deck, I say this because I use facts. You see, I also gathered information recently to show that Crystal Beast, when they first came out, actually would have tiered in a worldwide tournament. They did not tier because someone had misused one of his cards. He did not get the concept of the cards. A true Crystal Beast deck user can use a Crystal Beast deck and actually hold his own against any deck out there. There's only one deck that has an advantage, a true advantage against Crystal Beast, because they can win in the second turn. And obviously, everyone should know what I'm talking about, an Exodia deck. Now, don't get me wrong, I have beaten an Exodia deck one time with my Crystal Beast deck, but it's never happened again because people use all these new cards and okay? But I'm also here to tell you, like I tell you in all my videos, that no deck period is invincible. Every deck can be beat. When the Elemental Dragons first came out, people were saying, "Oh my god, that deck's insane. Oh my god, I'm going to freak out. I can't beat it." I told my friends how to beat the deck, and he beat it in a tournament. An actual tournament. Regionals. He beat the deck. See, most people focus so slowly on the monsters, getting scared instead of keeping their minds straight and figuring out a solution to a problem. Me, I always find solutions to any problem. Why? Because I'm a collected person. I use my brain. Some people use their bronze. Now, on a different note, the deck I will show you how my Crystal Beast is built. As soon as I can figure it out where I accidentally put it. Give me a second. Oh yeah, put it over here. Okay. Now, anyone who watches this video on YouTube will know that I'm using actual cards. I don't use proxies because it defines the purpose, you know. Now, I have adapted my Crystal Beast deck to deal with Exceed monsters. I have 5 Exceed monsters in this deck. Yes, I could use more. And the 5 Exceed monsters I currently have in this deck, I rarely use them, but there are 2 or 3 that I use a lot, okay? The first, here, I'll put it up here so you can see the numbers and the words, because my videos don't like to show them very often. Number 103, Ragniaso, I believe. I can't pronounce it right. I just call it Blades. The other cards are... Oops. Yes, I put this in here just for shits and giggles. Pardon my French. Gaga Giga Gago the Rising. I'm just going to call him Gaga Rising. Put it simple. Black Ray Lancer. And these next 2 are a personal favorite that I use in this deck. I did not think they would work, but they work excellent. Yes, you see it here. Number 82 Heartland Drago. And, obviously, come on now, should be a given, Diamond Dire Wolf. These two cards used properly in this deck can devastate a battlefield. Now, I did say I was going to demonstrate how my deck works, which means I'm going to show you card for card how to use an actual Crystal Beast deck to its fullest potential. Alright. Yes, I do some of the lame things. I verse my own decks because I have no one else to duel because I live in a small town and I don't know anybody here. But that changes in September of this year because I'll be moving back to one of my hometowns, South Bend, Indiana, where all my friends are. Basically, I'm the leader of my friends. Well, I call myself a leader, but we're all equal, man. You all know what I mean. My best friends, they all are great duelists, too. Yeah. 4, 5, 6. Now, show you each card that I drew. See, I'm using a laptop. I don't have a cell phone to show you. But to make it simple and easy, I will tell you and show you each card I'm using. Crystal Beast, Cobalt Eagle is in my hand. Mirror Force. Ancient City, Rainbow Ruins. Ruby Carbuncle. Amber Mammoth. And Bottomless Trap Hole. Now, the way I have my deck built, like I have all my decks are built the same way. 20 monsters, 10 spells, 10 traps. Why? Because to me, that's balanced. Some people disagree with my claim, but it's how I choose to duel. No one else. Everyone's way of dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're an actual true Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, each of you have your own built style. How you play your cards. How you use your cards. Okay? I've met people that are, put it simply, they're ghetto, man. They're lame. They're not Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. They're Yu-Gi-Oh! Users. I mean, I've actually met people who take a deck, whether it tears or not, learn everything about it, but wait till it tears or if it doesn't, and then he literally either tosses it out the window, sells it, or gets rid of it and starts on a whole new deck. That is not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. That is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Mocker. He mocks the game. A true player plays his game and keeps his cards, not tosses them out like they're useless. No card is useless, and I've even proven that point. Now, I don't have another deck to play with because I'm basically going to show you different strategies with my Crystal Beast deck. Yes, you're getting exclusive because normally I don't do this with my decks. Okay. First, if you remember, I have Bottomless Trap Hole and Mirror Force in my hand. I would set both of those face down. Then I would set Ruby Carbuncle face down. I would end my turn. I would not play my spell card because that's pulling the trigger before needed, if you get my drift. Play all your cards face down. You're basically showing them your hand. You can't freaking do it. You have to draw them into your playstyle. My playstyle draws my opponent in to where he has to, basically, I lead him down a maze. I make him follow me, and he always falls into my traps. It doesn't always work, but how I play, trust me, my friends are impressed. This is one of my most decks that I've had the longest without tearing it apart. Okay? All my friends are impressed at how well this deck plays. And they've got some of the best decks I've ever seen. Including with all the new cards and new gadget monsters and everything, the machines. My friend Arthur, okay, he basically his nickname's Bandit Keith. He loves machine cards. And he's vastly aggressive with them. He's really good. I will give him credit. Alright? Basically, the new card I just drew was Solemn Warning. My 10 trap cards in this deck are vital. Yes, I know I don't keep my spell trap cards open for Crystal Beast, but you have to have some type of defense to protect Crystal Beast in case they have an alternative against you. This is one of my playstyles that have confused people because they think that my deck isn't full of Crystal Beast. It is, but you have to have your traps to support your Crystal Beast. Otherwise, if you have less traps, then the minimum I say 10 traps. Plain and simple. 10 spells because Crystal Beasts don't really need a lot of spell cards because they are spell cards. Then you've got Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. For those of you who do not know what this card is, it came out in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episodes and the series of the cards. Haman is a sacred beast, basically a deity, a demigod compared to the god cards. To play this card, you cannot normal, you cannot special summon this card. There's only one way to get this card on the field, from your hand, people, from the hand, nowhere else, okay? Unless it ignores summoning conditions. Haman takes 3 continuous spell cards. The only cards in my deck that are continuous spells are the monsters themselves, the Crystal Beast monsters themselves. Now, I can't remember if I run 1 or 2 Haman. I believe I run 1. I know I run 2 Rainbow Dragons. Alright? My playstyle is very legit, very my creation. I don't copy, as I said in my previous video with my blue light deck, with my blue eyes. I do not copy other people's playstyle and then create it into my own like everyone else does. I make all my cards from scratch. I learn my cards, and then I build the decks off my favorite cards. I have a Yubel deck. I have a Blue Eyes deck. One of the decks I'm actually trying to build is actually extremely hard for me. It's actually the most challenge I've ever had. It's a Red Eyes Black Dragon deck, similar to my Blue Light deck. Basically, it's going to be the rival of my Blue Light deck called Red Darkness. Now, this video showed that I've come up with these names myself. These are my personal names that I've given my decks. Like my Crystal Beast is Gleaming Power. My Blue Eyes Light Dragon deck is Blue Light. My Yubel deck is Sacred Terror. Why? You'll find that out in one of my other videos. I also have a Gem Knight deck that I call Shining Honor. Knights deal with honor, plus their Crystal Beast and Elemental Heroes combined. And if you think I'm lying, you might want to look up the history. The Gem Knights were created in honor of Crystal Beast and Elemental Heroes. They are a combination of both. They are awesome cards. I have them. I love them. Wow. Plus, they're the second strongest deck I own. Now, as you know, I just drew Solemn Warning. I placed it face down. I would end my turn. My next turn, my opponent, he would already have built up his defenses within his first turn. Second turn, he would probably summon a powerful monster. He would probably either wipe out some of my cards. But when he would have summoned that powerful monster, I would have already countered with my bottomless trap hole. He would summon another monster and take a risk and attack my face down, which I will let him because I won't play Mirror Force on one monster unless it was the only monster to defend me for several turns. And then I would send Ruby instead to my graveyard. Now, this is important for anyone who watches this. Crystal Beast monsters having their last ability. Okay, I will say this 2 times. Hopefully I don't have to. The final ability of the Crystal Beast says, when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can choose to send it to the graveyard or place it in my Spell and Trap card zone. Now, most people think this is a monster effect activation. Wrong. This is an activation, but it cannot start a chain. It allows me to choose its position. It does not start a chain, so you cannot play cards against it. Okay? Trust me, I've learned this the hard way very many times. And I know my Crystal Beast deck by heart. I know everything they can and cannot do. Alright? Also, the Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. Everyone who knows these cards knows that when this card is normal, special, or flip summon, it gains in its ability to special summon a Crystal Beast from my hand, deck, or my graveyard to my Spell and Trap card zone as a continuous spell. Now, most people think, oh, I'm just going to play Divine Wrath. Yes, that would work. But most people think, oh, I'll just play Bottomless Trap Hole. Yes and no to that card. Because Bottomless Trap Hole, yes, it will destroy and remove my Sapphire Pegasus from play. However, it did not negate the summoning. This is not a priority effect. This is a trigger effect, if I remember correctly. Because it was summoned to the field, it met the summoning conditions. Therefore, I still gain the ability of Pegasus, but I lose Pegasus in the process. Alright? Now, where was I? Oh, yes. My opponent would have just attacked me and destroyed my Ruby. It'd be my turn again, so I would draw a card. And I drew Chada Rainbow Dragon. Now, this is where I would play the top card in the deck, which is the Ancient City Rainbow Ruins as a field spell. With this on the field, you cannot play MST on this card, because it is not negating the summon. Therefore, if you play the card, you would not destroy my card. You would have to destroy one of the 3 I have face down. But if you play the card, well, no, hold on. Let me recalculate that. If I'm just now playing the card and it hits the field, all right, and you play Magic Gem, yes, you would destroy my card because it's negating its activation, right? But since I have this on my Spell and Trap card zone, a monster in my Spell and Trap card zone, this card is safe because of its first ability. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's ability 1. It has 5 special abilities. Each ability based on how many Crystal Beasts I have in my Spell and Trap card zone. If you play, with the new rules they have out now, like if you play a new field spell, okay, both people have a field spell, which makes no sense. That's fucking crazy. But, however, if you were in the old rules, the real way to play, if someone else were to play a field spell, yes, you would destroy my ruins. Alright? Now, next, I would summon Amber Mammoth in attack mode because he's 1,700 attack points. Plus, he sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger on the show, which I thought was funny. Now, for the effect of Solemn Warning on my opponent's turn, because I've predicted mostly all my opponents play. I've been playing this a long time, too, by the way. I would play my Solemn Warning. Yes, it would cost me 2,000 my life points, but I would get rid of a monster that could be a key asset for him to play many other cards. That is a necessity for this deck. You must control your opponent's playstyle. Unless you want to draw them in, you let them get the advantage, and then you wham, slam them hard. I do that with this deck as well. This playstyle with my deck is unique because of how I play. I do not copy anyone's playstyle. That is annoying. I know I've said that before. It'd be my turn again, and I would draw Emerald Turtle. Now, I would summon Emerald Turtle in attack mode. Why? Yes, it's kind of a risky move to do because he only has 600 attack points. I always think he has 8. Don't know why. However, if you're able to pull off an attack with the Emerald Turtle, you can use his ability during your main phase 2. Not during the battle phase, main phase 2. You can activate his ability for any monster who attack on your field this turn. You can activate his ability and select one of them to switch to defense mode. In this case, you would switch him to defense mode because defense is 2,000. Now, I would do that actually. I would switch him to defense mode after I would attack this turn because my opponent probably would not have a monster. But if he did, I would normal summon him face down. Why? Obvious reasons. Alright. My opponent's turn. Let's say I was playing against a newbie, someone who was learning to play. I was taking it easy on him. He would try to summon a good monster in defense mode. He would not risk attacking since I have a defense and an attack, so he would play defense, trying to build up his defenses so he could summon more powerful monsters. And he would start playing spells and traps face down if he had them. The next card I draw is the Topaz Tiger. And yes, this Topaz Tiger, ladies and gentlemen, is from FOTB. It's basically the original Topaz Tiger. It's an ultimate rare. I would summon it. Now, for those of you who do not know a Crystal Beast deck, the Topaz Tiger has, like all the other Crystal Beasts, he has his final special ability. But he has a unique burst special ability, like Amber Mammoth and Emerald Turtle. Topaz Tiger has the ability when he attacks a monster, only when he attacks that monster, during the damage step, he gains 400 extra attack points, making him a 2,000 attacking monster. Now, most people find this not a threat. However, if you play the cards right, it is quite a threat. Plus, he's a level 4. Doing all this right, you can summon one vicious wave with Synchros as well. Now, if I didn't tell you Amber Mammoth, which I'm pretty sure I didn't, I'll tell you. His special ability, the first one he has, is if you attack another Crystal Beast on my side of the field, I can activate his special ability and redirect your attack straight at him. So it'll protect my other monsters. He's good for that. You know, mammoths are, remember, they're like elephants. They never forget. Anyway, okay, I would have 3 monsters on my field by then. And if I know my opponent, if once I summon my Topaz Tiger, or on his next turn, he'd played 1 of 4 cards. Since it is now illegal to play 1, he would either play Regeki, Dark Hole, Lightning Storm, He would play a card to destroy my monsters, like Trenchfield Tribute. He would destroy my monsters, so I would send all three of my monsters to my spell and trap card zone, giving me 4 in my spell and trap card zone mode, leaving me helpless. He would summon a monster, getting cocky and attacking, but he forgot about my face down, Mirror Force, which would destroy all his monsters. Remember, I did say if I was playing against a noob. Other people, my strategies change depending on the skill of the person I play. My Crystal Beast deck, yes, it can't beat most decks, but it can, put up a fight. Now, it'd be my turn again. I would draw another Topaz Tiger. Now, I will explain. I already told you the first ability of my Ancient City Rainbow Ruins, and I said it had 5 special abilities. You know 1. Number 2 is if I take battle damage from 1 attack and 1 attack only, I can cut that damage in half. The third ability, if I have 3 Crystal Beasts in my Spell and Trap card zone, and I have Crystal Beast monsters on my field, not Crystal Beast spells and traps, Crystal Beast monsters, I can give up one of those to negate a spell or trap card in play. Now, people have had a misconception about this ability. This ability can be chained. Let's say I have 5 Crystal Beast monsters in my field. You play Mirror Force. I can give up Crystal Beast, negate, and destroy the card. You play another card. I can give up another Crystal Beast and negate that card. Yes, it has a chain effect, and it does it for every Crystal Beast monster I control. However, the only card this card cannot negate are cards that basically say this card's effect cannot be negated, or a Spell Speed 3. Spell Speed 3 are counter trap cards. These are the only cards in the game that cannot be countered by anything less than a Spell Speed 3 counter trap card. So Spell Speed 2 and lower, my Rainbow Ruins can negate if I have monsters on my field to do so. And it does have the chain effect. Now, effect number 4 for this ability. If I have 4 Crystal Beasts in my Spell and Trap card zone, I'm able to draw a new card. I can only do it once per turn. The card I drew happens to be Crystal Beacon. For those of you who do not know what this card does, if I have 2 or more Crystal Beasts in my Spell and Trap card zone, I can play this card and it instantly allows me to special summon a Crystal Beast from my deck. Now, the perfect strategy for this type of combo is easy. You should always summon a Crystal Beast, Sapphire, Pegasus from your deck. Why? If I've already told you, he has an ability to summon a Crystal Beast to my Spell and Trap card zone from my hand, my deck, or my graveyard. Now, you want to bring out Sapphire Pegasus, which would activate his ability to bring out another Crystal Beast. Sapphire Pegasus is now on my field as a monster. Now, you would use this ability and target a Crystal Beast that is not already in your graveyard or in play. You need a Crystal Beast that is not like this. The more Crystal Beasts you bring to the field, the faster you can summon Rainbow Dragon, which I have in my hand. So in this case, we're going to use Crystal Beast, Amethyst Cat. Okay, where'd she go? Come on. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Ah, there she is. There. With Amethyst Cat now on my field, I have 5 Crystal Beast spells and traps on my field. This is a decisive move. It can be used 4 ways. The first way, you can special summon Ruby, which is in my Spell and Trap card zone. Doing this allows Ruby to activate its special ability when this card is special summoned to the field as a monster. You can bring as many Crystal Beasts from your Spell and Trap card zone up to the battlefield, making them monsters again. Cancel. Xbox. Exit Netflix. Yes. Now, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to activate effect number 5 of my field spell, which allows me to special summon 1 Crystal Beast from my Spell and Trap card zone back to the battlefield. Doing so, Ruby, I place Ruby in defense mode. Doing so will also allow me to bring 3 more back to my field since I have 2 on my field. I will bring him back Topaz Tiger, Amber Mammoth, and Amethyst Cat. Doing this brings a lot of disabilities for the Crystal Beast deck. This is one of the things that can cripple your cards if you do not play them right. Doing this, yes, it gives you a fighting force. However, it leaves your spell and trap cards wide open, which means you cannot negate spells and trap cards until you get 3 back on your field. Now, there's also, I'm going to do some, and I'll explain what happens afterward. The first thing I'm going to do is summon number 82, Heartland Draco, because of its special ability. And it requires 2 level 4 monsters, which I will use Amber Mammoth and Topaz Tiger for this. Alright? Now, there's been a misconception I've had to deal with quite a few times. If you exceed summon using Crystal Beast, they stay underneath the exceed summon monster until you use the ability of that monster. However, the misconception is that they do not go to the grave, that you can place them in the spell and trap card zone. This is not the case. This is not true. Because they are no longer technically on the field, they're not being destroyed, and they are not, basically consider them in limbo state. Limbo state is basically cards that, like for Exceeds, which came when Exceeds came out, is called a limbo state. They are there. They are materials for your monster. When you activate and use them, you send them to the graveyard. They are not being destroyed, therefore they cannot go to the spell and trap card zone. And they are not considered monsters while on these type of Exceeds for that reason. Now that that's been cleared up, I can now do the other thing I had planned. I have 2 level 3s on my field. And the only one that's a level 3 is my Black Red Lancer. Okay? But for some of you, which I know some of you play, you would not use Heartland Draco. You would use Diamond Dire Wolf because of its great capability. Now, I will tell you which ones are necessity to use with this type of move. Alright? It's a very clever move, and it's very useful if you do it right. The first 2 you want to use for this. Okay? Amber Mammoth and Topaz Tiger. Okay? You exceed with them. Okay? Now, doing so, everyone who does not know what his ability is, I will explain. 2 level 4 monsters once per turn. Once means during your turn only. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XC material from this card. Then target 1 beast, beast warrior, or winged beast type monster you control, and 1 other card on the field. Destroy them. Now, this is a destruction effect. For those of you who are not thinking, well, that's obvious. Okay? I would detach Tiger first, and then I would target Ruby Carbuncle. Okay? Oh, wait. I think I have to target him. Yep, 1 beast. Okay. You cannot target Ruby because he is not a beast type. He's a fairy type. A little fairy! Oh, no. So, in this case, we would target Sapphire Pegasus to place in my spell and trap card zone, and I would target a card of my opponent's, destroys both, Sapphire would go in my spell and trap card zone. It was destroyed, therefore I have the option to do so. Now, remember, Diamond Dire Wolf is a 2,000 attacking monster. And for those of you who do not know Amethyst Cat's special ability, she, every turn, no it does not, it's not permanent. She can jump over your opponent's monsters and attack the opponent directly. However, the drawback is she has to slice her attack in half for this move. Her attack does not stay sliced. Okay, people have been misconcepted about that one as well. It only goes for that turn of that attack. Basically, she sends half of herself over there and hits you. Her attack goes back to normal after that attack. This is during the damage step to also let you know this. Well, no. When she attacks you directly, she's attacking you with 12, but the damage you take is half of it. Alright? Now, with this, I would end my turn. I am missing 1 more monster to get on my field to summon Rainbow Dragon. But since, also, there's another thing I need to clear up. If you exceed summon using 2 Crystal Beast monsters, and 2 of those are 2 of the 7 you need to summon Rainbow Dragon, since they are material monsters, they are not on the field, they are not in existence. Therefore, you cannot summon Rainbow Dragon this way. You have to have them on your field as monsters, spells, and traps, or in your graveyard for you to summon Rainbow Dragon. I thought everybody should know this effect. I would end my turn. My opponent goes, seeing that I have a vicious monster. They might attack risking one of my two weaker monsters, which is Amethyst Cat with 1200 attack or Ruby Carbuncle with 300 attack. Knowing my opponent, they would always attack Ruby first because it has 300 attack points, which means I could take some massive damage. In this case, we would do so. I would take damage. They would destroy Ruby Carbuncle. Ruby would go on my Spell and Trap card zone, giving me 3 monsters again. 3 spells and traps. Now, my opponent would end after his attacks, and I would draw, look at that, another Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. Now, yes, my deck, I have not told you each individual card of my deck because that ruins my fun. But yes, you've realized that I have 2 of the field spell, which is a necessity. Now, I would summon Eagle. I've held Eagle in my hand. He's actually one of my favorite cards. I love birds. I would summon Eagle. Why would I summon him last? One, my setup has already been set because Sapphire Pegasus is now on my field. Eagle's special ability, which I will show you now. Eagle can select one Crystal Beast monster on my field, or on the field period, well, particularly on my field, and it can send it to the top of my deck. So next turn I draw it unless my opponent makes me shuffle my deck, which he can't do without a card effect. I would activate Eagle's ability, target Sapphire, and I would place him on the top of my deck. This ensures me getting me the key monster for this entire deck back on my field next turn and allowed me to use his ability again. Now, I do not have 7 Crystal Beasts. I had Eagle, Cat, Ruby, Turtle, and Tiger. Those are the only monsters on my field. That is 5 monsters. I am missing 2 monsters. Mammoth and Pegasus. And since Mammoth is still an Exceed material, that causes some problems with Exceeds in a Crystal Beast deck. But if you play your cards right, you can use that to your advantage as well. I normal summon Eagle and I have Cat. This turn I would have Diamond Direwolf activate his ability again just to get Mammoth in my graveyard. But I would have to target a Winged Beast, which I would target Eagle for this effect. I would target opponent's card, destroys it, and destroys Eagle, sending Eagle to my Spell and Trap card zone. This keeps 3 on my Spell and Trap card zone, which is a strategy. The Crystal Beast strategies do take a little time to develop. They can be quite fast. I know, I've seen it myself. Now, Diamond Direwolf has no more Exceeds, but he can still be one hell of a beat stick with 2,000 attack. 2,000 may not be high, but it's still high enough to defend you for some time. So I would attack my opponent with a grand total of either 2,600 or 2,000 or 3,200. By this point, my opponent would be, most of my opponents, they give up. They literally have. They've stopped playing because they can't beat my deck. I tell them that they can choose that or they keep playing. Maybe they'd get a turn card. And some of my opponents kept playing and they got a turn card and really screwed me over. But this will not be the case this time. This will probably be my longest video for you YouTubers. Now it'd be my turn again, and obviously, without even looking, I would summon Sapphire Pegasus. Activating its special ability, instead of targeting my graveyard, since I have 7 now, currently on my field, I would target my graveyard instead of my deck. Probably said graveyard the first time. So I would bring back Tiger to my Spell and Trap card, card zone, to give me 4 monsters. Then I would activate effect number 4 of my field spell. Effect number 4 allows me to draw again. And look, it's Eagle. Now, this provides a very perfect move. With 2 Crystal Beasts, I can now special summon Rainbow Dragon. Some people would probably be planning up to this and playing like Bottomless Thrapple. However, here's the drawback. Now that I have 4 Crystal Beasts in my Spell and Trap card zone, I only need 3. And I have 2 Monster Crystal Beasts. Therefore, if they were to play Bottomless Thrapple, I can activate my field spell's special ability, give up one of my monsters, and negate and destroy that card. Which means they would not risk, or they would try to risk, getting rid of Rainbow Dragon this way. However, the only cards that I cannot stop, as I said before, is a counter trap card. Okay, my opponent would do something that he would end his turn without a risk because I have a high power on the field. The other card that is good for this deck is Compulsive Evacuation Device. A trap card. Very good trap card, by the way. Now, I would summon Eagle again. With Eagle now back on my field, I have 3 Crystal Beast monsters. Okay, this gives you the opportunity to do one of 2 things. First, I would use the ability of my field spell to draw again. And it happens to be a monster that is not related to Crystal Beast. However, it's in this deck because of its special ability. First, before I play that card, I have 5 monsters on my field. Okay, this cannot do well. So, I have one of 2 choices. Okay, I can activate Eagle's special ability, place Sapphire back on my deck, or I could play my trap, because remember I did play it last turn because my opponent wouldn't risk such high power. However, I would play it on my opponent's face down card. That is also a possibility, but in this case, I'm going to use it on Diamond Dire Wolf. I will be sending him back to my Exceed deck so I could use him again. This is a very good move. You had several moves that were good. The choice is better to leave up your monster field so you can place more out there. This Diamond Dire Wolf, placing him back in your extra deck allows you to use him again if you Exceed summon him again, giving you 2 more options to destroy spells and traps or monsters. This leaves a spot open, and now I will special summon the Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings. This card's special ability can only be special summoned if I have 3 continuous spell cards on my field. It has 1900 attack and 2600 defense, but I will summon it in attack mode. My opponent would not be expecting this half the time, some of them do. It has another ability. If it causes damage to your opponent, it allows you to discard a card from their hand and then you draw a card from yours. However, if your opponent does not have a hand, from what I've been told, I've not been able to find anything to counteract this, if they don't have a hand, you cannot draw a card because you cannot discard from your opponents. It sounds reasonable though as well. Now, as you know, I have Rainbow Dragon, Sapphire Pegasus, my Queen, my Amethyst Cat, and my Eagle is now currently on my field. This could actually make a really good strategy. Okay. See, my opponent would probably have played something to make sure that I can't attack very well. So, I would activate Eagle's special ability, sending Sapphire back to the top of my deck. Because with the 4 that I currently have on my field, that is game over. That's literally game over. If these 4 monsters attack my opponent directly, it is literally game over. Another reason why I say this would be game over, because a counter trap card would not be played at this point in time to counteract my battles. They would play lesser cards, which in this case I would just give up one of the Crystal Beasts on my field. Since I can counteract 2 counter cards, not counter traps, but you know what I mean, battle-based defenses, it would still give my Rainbow Dragon a massive advantage because he has nothing left to defend him. This would be game over for the opponent. He could not stop this unless he played a monster that had enough defense to withstand a Rainbow Dragon's 4,000 attack power. Yes, I could have used my Crystal Beast and then souped him up even more, but why do that when I risk the chance of losing him with Spell Trap defections? Detections, defection, whatever. Now, this is my longest video. I'm going to end it here for this reason. Cancel. Yeah, my Xbox is on. Alright? I will do more of this deck if people request it or contact me on Xbox Live or Facebook. My Xbox Live account is HellPhoenix24. Just as you hear it sounded. Hell, Hell, Phoenix, and then the number 24. There's no spaces. It's all one word. I've enjoyed this small commentary of my Crystal Beast deck. And if you wish to know more about Crystal Beast deck or my other decks, hit me up. Otherwise, you can wait for my next video. And Phoenix,